What is a third party?
There have been a lot of third parties in American history. These parties, as one historian said about them, are like bees. They sting and then they die.
And how can different voices help shape our democracy?
Part of the appeal of third parties, since they are out of power, they're not compromised. They say they have pure ideas and that the solution lies sometimes even in being anti-political.
Why is this museum having a party?
1996 is the 150th anniversary of the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian is a complex of museums and research centers in Washington. There's 141 million things.
These artifacts need to be preserved and they need to be kept for future generations to see.
And is the celebration coming to your town?
One of the things that we did was to take over 300 objects out of the collections, a little from every place, science and history and art and everything, and put together an exhibition that would travel around the country.
When is work a drag?
The object of pulling is who can pull the sled the farthest.
A full pull is when you pass the 300-foot mark.
And how is this family pulling its weight? Find out this week on the show that asks the questions. Nick News.
You all know that George Washington was the first president of the United States, but did you know that he is our only president who did not belong to a political party? Since then, many of our presidents have belonged to either the Democratic political party, like Bill Clinton, or the Republican Party, like Bob Dole. The Democrats and the Republicans are the two major parties in the U.S., but in our democracy, there has always been room for other voices, and there have always been other parties, like the Greenbacks, the Know-Nothings, and even the local Focos. This is the story of some of those other voices.
Tweedledum, Tweedledee, corrupt politics.
Crime, domestic decay.
Our democracy is dangerously deteriorating.
Drug abuse.
We want the federal government out of your life.
Nation's problems are human problems.
Can we count on the two political parties to solve these problems? They are the problem, right?
Ross Perot and his Reform Party became a serious third-party alternative after winning 19% of the presidential vote in 1992.
I think that what people saw in Ross Perot was a leader who gave people hope that he could actually change some things. I'm Joanne Benson. I'm a field representative for the Reform Party. We are for really some very basic fundamental reforms. We would like to see the budget balance. We would like to end the trade deficit. We would like to stop increasing our debt.
To run for president, you have to be at least 35 years old and an American citizen born in the United States. As evidenced by John Hagelin of the Natural Law Party, you don't have to be a politician.
I am a research scientist. I'm not a politician. But the purpose of my running for president as a scientist is to bring our nation into harmony with natural law. In healthcare, it's much better to prevent a disease from happening than to treat it once it's already a full-blown disease.
Right now, the two major parties are very much alike. They're very in the laps of the big corporations. So there needs to be a third party to break that grip.
Ralph Nader, a longtime political activist, is running for president on the Green Party ticket. That's green for saving the environment.
The Green Party is a new party that wants to bring in a lot of young people to change politics, clean up politics, emphasize environment, clean food, clean air, clean water.
Ralph Nader is not particularly interested in becoming president. He is simply trying to get a forum for his issues. And that's often what third candidates do. I'm Sidney Blumenthal. I'm a special political correspondent at the New Yorker magazine. There have been a lot of third parties in American history. In 1912, a former president, Theodore Roosevelt, ran as a third-party candidate against the Republican Party.
He again ran for president, this time as the candidate for the rebel Bull Moose Party.
In 1948, we had an election in which there were four parties.
Thomas E. Dewey, heavy Republican favorite for the world's biggest job. Democratic President Harry S. Truman. Henry A. Wallace, pacifist leader of the Progressive Party. J. Strom Thurmond of the States' Rights Party, opposing the president's civil rights program.
These parties, as one historian said about them, are like bees. They sting and then they die.
Often the political party in power is the last to embrace change. Groundbreaking reforms, such as putting an end to slavery, giving women the right to vote, and granting all citizens basic civil rights, were brought about by concerned Americans who formed third parties to put pressure on the two-party system.
In 1992, Ross Perot raised the question, for example, of the large federal deficit. And President Clinton, once he came into office, took up this issue himself.
Do you get this kind of blunt, straight talk from the other political parties?
There's 270 million Americans. What government tends to do is say there's one solution that should work for everybody. And that can't be, because there's too many of us. We have too many unique problems. My name is Perry Willis. I'm the National Director of the Libertarian Party.
The Libertarian Party candidate is Harry Brown. Libertarians believe that the least government is the best government.
Huge tax cuts now.
What we believe in is the same thing that the Founding Fathers had in mind when they drafted the Constitution. Cut government back to basically national defense and a federal court system.
The American people are on our side. We are the mainstream now.
We think really we're the only party that has a chance, ultimately, to challenge the Democrats and Republicans.
There's only one case of a third party that became a major party. There were two parties in America, the Democratic Party and the Whig Party. The Whig Party split in half over the issue of slavery, and that created the room for this new party, an anti-slavery party, the Republican Party. No one has an overriding issue in 1996.
To seriously challenge the office of president, first you have to get on the ballot in each state so people can vote for you. How you do that varies, but in general, a candidate must present a minimum number of signatures from registered party members.
The blue is the states where the Reform Party is already on the ballot.
Part of the appeal of third parties, since they are out of power, they're not compromised. They say they have pure ideas and that the solution lies sometimes even in being anti-political.
The government programs just don't work.
That's for sure.
Problems need to be solved locally. They need to be solved voluntarily.
The key thing is for young people to have a higher estimate of what impact they're going to have on the globe and on their community and neighborhood.
We don't have to stay home anymore because we can vote green.
We'll be right back after these messages.